This is Margaret Schlachter from Mud Run Guide. I am here with the crew from Tough Mudder. They are in the Tough Mudder headquarters. So thanks you guys for joining us on Mud Run Guide.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And it's almost like we've got some of the craziest minds all in one room right now. So, I mean, E-Rock, we've got you sitting there in the one corner, and then Nolan, I think everybody knows you, and Chris, you know, more and more people know you, and then Angela, you're kind of the unknown behind the scenes, but thanks for, you know, taking the time to talk about Tough Mudder X that you guys have going on. So first, I just want to hear from you guys how you describe Tough Mudder X when somebody asks you what the event that you guys have coming up is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. What I've been telling people is it's absolutely the toughest mile on the planet, and that's what it was designed to be. I think one of the fun things that we like to do at Tough Mudder is, you know, there's regular running and there's regular events that people do, and you could run a marathon. But running a mile in our shoes is a lot different than anything else. So I think, you know, you could rack up 50 miles of world's toughest, but that actually means something a lot more than just 50 miles. And when we design a mile-long course, it's going to be tough, and that's kind of the mission that we have with this one.
And to me, it seems like this, from looking on the outside in, and then kind of hearing some, you know, kind of reports of what you guys just did a test run in last weekend. What athlete did you guys design this for? Because to me, it sounds like it's almost like the functional fitness athlete and the obstacle racing athlete kind of have to meld together for this sort of event. Like, who did you kind of, as an athlete, design this for, or like have in mind?
I could kick off and start with the theoretical, and then maybe you guys can kick in with the actual. But I'll say the design was not intended for one person. I think the idea behind this was to find the toughest athlete. We don't know who that is. So we want to see who emerges. I mean, before we launched World's Toughest, we didn't know what the limits of human achievement were, and we didn't know what that person would be. We didn't know that it was going to be Pac or Atkins early on, but those are the athletes that rose to that challenge. So for me, it really wasn't a specific person. It was, let's see who can do this. And we're very interested, and I think we're still pretty excited to say, like, we don't know who's going to walk away with this. It's not clear that it sits in anybody's wheelhouse. So I think that's probably where the theoretical vision starts from. But I don't know if you guys have an idea of, like, the actual athlete. Who is it? What is their discipline that makes it work?
Yeah, I mean, Chris and I both ran the course, and, you know, we come from different disciplines. And I will say, you know, today in fitness, today in pretty much any sport or any discipline, like, there's the claim of, we have the fittest athlete here, or we have this is the best test to deliver this, you know. And I will say that, you know, just like Tough Mudder does, we year in and year out with new obstacles, new courses, new program designs. I mean, we're literally just, you know, charting a new path right here. And I will say, like, you know, I agree totally with Nolan. We don't know, we will see. That's the best answer right there.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think what we're targeting is a new, incredibly well-rounded athlete. We're lucky, you know, in the World's Toughest community to see some of the greatest athletic achievements you'll see anywhere. You know, people racking up 105 miles, pushing those boundaries. You know, for E-Rock, comes from a heavy functional fitness background, you know, competes really heavily in that space, sees people do incredible things as well. You know, we wanted to design what we thought was the best test overall that hits all those different things that you don't necessarily see with an extreme endurance event, bring those things together and see what we can find.
Yeah, just to kind of, the best way we can look at it is you have to approach this event in the same way that you would approach like a track and field meet. You know, I mean, you never know, and it's tough to judge. You know, you can put that miler up against a 400-meter athlete versus a 200-meter athlete, and we've just now created a course where we can test all of those same facets all right there. So with the high jumper, with the sprinter, you know, so that's what's so exciting about this. So as this evolves and as this comes to kind of fruition here in Minnesota, and then hopefully, you know, later on in other years, you're really going to see this type of athlete evolve. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, and speaking of athletes, I know that, so I interviewed Hunter McIntyre about a little while ago, and he kind of hinted that this was an event that he was really focusing on this year, and You know, but so I would assume that Hunter's going to be there since he said this is something he's training for and wants to be at. But who are some of the athletes that you guys have confirmed that you can share with that will be at the event? Because I'd love to hear who we have coming.
Awesome. So we're going to, and pardon me for not divulging our entire list. We want to save some suspense for you as the day draws closer. But we do have some amazing athletes. You know, from the male side, we have Hunter. Obviously, as you said, he is someone you know, I keep in contact with him as well. He's certainly very, very excited about this competition. Bracken Kraken. Yeah, and is Spartan Racer, I bet, right? I imagine, and then someone from the CrossFit community that I know really well is Spencer Panchik will be out there. You know, you spoke of a lot of the games athletes that are right there. I've also, like, you know, we've been fielding a lot of that stuff, and folks even from the CrossFit Games side, we know that the games are a week or 2 weeks away, but you know, there's a lot of interest from that community, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of those athletes that you'll see in Madison out there at the course. Speaking to the women, we have some really, really prominent names from both disciplines as well. Obviously, names that you'll know offhand. You know, Lindsay Webster and Sarah Knight will be there, and then a great athlete, someone who is going to the games this year. We have Margot Alvarez. Who is a, you know, standout multiple times game athlete, someone that's really going to show the diversity of this thing. You know, we spoke about, you know, looking at the track meet and everything like that, and what type of athletes. You know, you have the runners obviously, but you'll also have these athletes that come in from the functional fitness side, and you know, it's going to be a really, really cool showdown. Once again, we have a fun list of athletes, exciting list of athletes that I can't wait for everyone to see. You know, on the CBS programming.
Just to add on that too, I think the most exciting part about the event that's coming up in this product is that it's going to bring a lot of different people from different backgrounds and different communities, not just from the classic Tough Mudder community. Of course, there's going to be a ton of them, but we're going to see a lot of new people who may have never even done a Tough Mudder come out and do this. It's going to be cool to see how they interact and like their different abilities, and that's probably the most exciting part about the course is, you know, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses, and it's going to find it for different people. And some people are really going to excel through certain areas, and probably struggle with others. But you know, they'll kind of, someone's going to walk out on top with this. So I think that's what I'm probably most excited to see with it.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering a little bit about the course now. Are you guys going to, say, design something like we saw for those of us that have been around the industry for a little while? Remember Urban Mudder that you guys had back in the day, which is a longer course. But are we expecting to see, like, are you guys going to have water like underneath, like Funky Monkey or something like that? Or is it going to be like a crash pad? I don't know if you guys can talk about that or not. So is it going to be a dry course or, you know, have mud in it, I guess is my question.
It's going to have mud in it. It's going to have water in it. The Tough Mudder obstacle elements that we put on the course are going to be very close to the Tough Mudder obstacle elements that you see on a regular Tough Mudder course, or maybe a little closer to what you'd see on a Toughest or World's Toughest to some degree. So some tweaks that make things maybe a little more challenging are going to be out there. So those elements will maintain. It's part of the Tough Mudder weekend too. So it's on a site that there's already a Tough Mudder event. So it's going to have a lot of the same look and feel in terms of the ground you're on, the mud that you're crawling through, and the obstacles you're going to be seeing are going to be very similar to that front. So we want to keep them very close to home so that athletes that have run Tough Mudder or familiar with Toughest or World's Toughest Mudder can come out and like, yes, I know what that is. I've seen that before, with some challenges added.
I love that. I think it's great. I think it's great to put all together. But I guess, E-Rock, this question's kind of for you, is that if I'm signed up for this and I'm, you know, looking to get ready and you do a lot of the workout stuff, what are the things, I mean, we're really close. It's catching up, it's like a month away. But what are the ways that you would put into training, having just run the test course and kind of being on the inside to maybe get ready for the event coming up here on July 14th?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I mean, as we kind of discussed prior, I mean, a lot of these athletes, some of them, you know, if they've, just like the folks that have never run a Tough Mudder course, they don't know how to train for those obstacles. You know, same with those that just do trail running or just do the obstacle course races. it's going to be a challenge. What I would recommend, honestly, is downloading my training guides from toughmudder.com, where you can find them. I'm just kidding, but that's actually a good way to go, because, you know, we're really what we're trying to do here too. And if I may speak to Tough Mudder Bootcamp, you know, so much of what we have out there on the course is going to be directly connected to what we're doing with the new Tough Mudder Bootcamp. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But so a lot of the same movements that you're gonna see in the boot camp are gonna be out there too. So, you know, we're not gonna be throwing, you know, some crazy, you know, things at these folks that are absolutely gonna be soul crushing for them. But to practice things like you know, fast hip speeds, you know, just I would say, I don't know how much I want to give away here with the okay, all right, perfect. Okay, cool. So some of the workout zones, I would certainly practice, you know, some shoulder strength. I mean, you know, as with most of the obstacles you'll see out there, you know, we're really going to be taxing the full body, but that upper body strength is going to be taxed, I think, you know, predominantly. So, you know, getting used to having a heavy sandbag on you in any regard, whether it be, you know, doing power cleans from the ground or pushing it overhead, something like this. You know, practicing, you know, full depth. You know, one thing that I'm a big fan of, and that you're going to see out there on the course, are we're going to run the same standards as you'd find in any other functional fitness competition. You know, we're looking for full range of motion about joints. So what more than anything, and as we saw with athletes that don't come from a functional fitness background, was their limited range of motion or their uncomfort in that full range of motion movements. And so what I challenge all athletes that are looking at these workouts and going, oh my gosh, what do I do? I would certainly go back to the drawing board. Make sure I know what the bottom of the squat looks like. Make sure I know what the top of a press looks like. You know, all those type of things. And then get comfortable with what happens in the functional fitness space. As I said before, we're not throwing anything super crazy at you that's not done in the gym space. But I certainly would practice some cleans. I certainly would practice some shoulder presses, you know, maybe even throwing some wall balls around. I probably would do that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. But yeah, I think that's a good thing. Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, the only things I would add to that are, you know, practice your metabolic conditioning. You know, wrap your mind around what this is going to be like when you're running a mile as fast as you can and hitting these things in line with obstacles. For those of us, you know, have done World's Toughest, E-Rock's done World's Toughest as well. It's a much different pace when you're rolling up to something, maybe walking a few steps into it, climbing over a Berlin Wall, and then, you know, picking up a jog for a while longer. When you're blasting into that wall and you just came up out of like lifting some serious weight, it's just much different the way you approach it. And you can sort of gather yourself mentally and refocusing to make sure that you hit everything with the intensity that you'd like to go in there with. Getting a little closer to the event, we will be doing further reveals of exact rep counts and weights. We sent out a teaser to some of the accepted athletes so far, but we'll be giving much more detail with the movement standards in advance, so athletes can practice and really work on their form to make sure that when game time comes, they're ready for it and they know exactly what they have to do.
The only other thing that I would add to that too is that we're going to have a full set of judges out watching the event and all the features. So for anybody who's coming out, just make sure that they're polished on their technique. They know, you know what a full lockout is. They know at the bottom of the squat. They practice their technique for pull-ups. Things like that are going to matter. Nobody wants to get dinged for not hitting the reps, so that's going to be something that's watched. So if somebody hasn't been to the gym for a while, hasn't been around it, it's definitely worth a stop in to make sure, like, yes, am I hitting all my forms the right way? But yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that brings out a perfect point that I was going to ask you guys too. Is I saw on the website that you were looking for judges, and I don't know if you're ready to reveal this yet, but say like we were just talking about that you don't hit the bottom of a squat if there's a squat or if there's a thruster or something like that, and you don't lock out at the top. What's going to be the protocol? Is it a penalty, or is it kind of like the CrossFit where it's just a no rep and you do it again? How is that piece working into, obviously the obstacles? It's like you do the obstacle, I would imagine.
Yeah, I can speak that. I think there are some changes. I don't want to talk about the obstacle stuff, but for the workout zones, it's exactly that. We're looking for full range of motion. If you do not, complete a full range of motion about the movement, or you're unable to complete it, you will be given a no rep. Your judge will. The key thing here that we need to understand is like the judge will, you know, obviously call no reps. And then also the judge has the ability to provide corrective action, like tell you exactly what was wrong with that movement. So I know sometimes that's a gray area with some competitions.
Yeah, Nolan, do you want to talk about what the obstacles? Is it going to be like World's Toughest Mudder, where if you can't do it, there's a penalty, or is it a mandatory completion?
Well, I would love to talk more, but I'm not going to give it too much detail. For the most part, you have to complete everything in its entirety, but there'll be some options, not like penalty style included, but you'll have to do all of the obstacles to get through it.
Perfect. I mean, that it's perfect. People have the idea that you've got to do all the obstacles, and you have to make sure you perform the full range of motion in the workout. I mean, I think that's, and obviously run the 1 mile distance, run, walk, crawl, however you get through that. So before I let you guys go, I know that on the website it says that this is limited to 100 males and 100 females. And we've already said that there's, you guys have people signed up for it. Is registration or applications, are you guys still accepting applications? And do you still need judges? And do spectators have to do anything special to come and watch the event?
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk through all of those things. So we do have a great field of athletes signed up already. We're getting very close to being full. We have a bunch of applications that we're in the process of reviewing. Within the next week, we hope to send out the invites to accepted athletes, as well as putting anyone on the wait list that will be a waitlisted athlete, and as well with that, any rejections. Because there are tons of applications, very limited spots. Unfortunately, there will be some folks being rejected. The good news is there's a couple great ways to be involved, whether you want to compete or not. So judging is a great opportunity. We have a great community in OCR, and also obviously huge community with CrossFit that have a lot of expertise on functional fitness and those movements. So we're recruiting judges. We would love people to come out and help us there. If you go to the What Is TMX page on the Tough Mudder website, there's a link there to apply to be a judge. We encourage everyone to go there. That's pretty much the best way to get up close and personal with some of the best athletes in the world. You'll be out there on course with them, with CBS capturing all this on film as they're going through this for the day. It's really exciting. I think all of us would be happy to do it if we weren't working other roles in the day. But super exciting. If you don't want to do that, you just want to come and watch, it's going to be an amazing live sporting event, again, with some of the best athletes in the world. So there's an Eventbrite event that you can go to the registration page on straight from our website. Sign up there as a spectator. We'll have t-shirts for the first 1,000 to sign up to come spectate, as well as a free beer if you're over 21. So it should be a really great live event experience, great atmosphere on site. Come back, spend your Friday with us. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. If we didn't say it loud enough, CBS and CBS Sports will be on site. They're going to be filming, and I know it's a lot of fun to be around those productions. They're going to be capturing all the action, so it'll be a really exciting event to watch and be a part of, and see how they capture some of the top athletes, and then potentially see themselves sometime in the fall if they can make it in the back of the camera shot. So
I'm really excited. And really from E-Rock to the Minneapolis community, come out in droves. I mean, I cannot tell you enough. We're going to need as much enthusiasm and so many judges. We want the best folks to come out, help us out with this event. Be part of the community. We're going to create a festival atmosphere. It's going to be high competition, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. So for all the Minneapolis folks and for everyone in the area, just come out. We're going to have a good time. Really good time.
Well, excellent. Yeah. And if you're like me and you're not going to be able to be in Minneapolis, I know on your website right now, it says it's going to be on CBS on August 27th and September 3rd. So I am so excited to watch this, because I think that you guys over at Tough Mudder are bringing something that we have never seen before really in this space, and could be seen a future evolution of the sport and of the industry. So, for someone that's been around this for 8 years now, I am very excited to see what you guys bring. And, thanks so much for taking the time today. This has been great to get to talk to you guys, and hopefully those watching got a little bit more insight. And if you can't compete, then go watch the event. So thanks to you guys down there.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thanks.